Commitment is rough. Yeah.
Rough.
I dated a 7 in case that wasn't clear. I know
I'm
a
just going to
lot
go ahead and
of 7s.
we're easy to like and hard to keep liking, I think. I think that's an easy way to say it.
You call yourself out. I thought one of the fun things we could do is go briefly through each type and talk about where they might have some money success and where they might also struggle with money. So let's start with number 1.
So, type 1s are the perfectionist. And this is more, this can be traditional perfectionism, but I think of it as more moral perfectionism. Like it's incredibly important that I be a good person and I do the right thing. And so ones tend to have this internal compass that is really an inner critic that's telling them bad, wrong, you messed up right there. And I've heard type 1 say like their whole life they thought that was the voice of God. Like that is who God is this critical internal compass that's saying bad, wrong, you're failing, right? So that's a really intense. So when it comes to money, I would imagine they're going to struggle with feeling bad about spending money. They're probably going to feel like there's a lot of what I call perfectionist procrastination, where they put things off until they can get them perfect.
Right. I'm not going to
So
start investing until I know everything there is to know about the stock market. Yeah.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And to know how morally good the stock market is. Is
Great
the
point.
stock market is it good to be rich? What if it's bad to be rich? What if making money is like morally horrible?
Right.
These are the things they're up against.
Yeah.
And then also like if I can't balance my budget perfectly, if I don't make enough money to feel like I can really do it, then I'm just going to
Right.
wait.
Or if I can't pay off $10,000 of credit card debt in a week, then I just shouldn't do it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're
Interesting.
also strength wise, they make a rule and they follow through, right? So if they tend to be right with routines. So if they were able to say, kind of push through that procrastination and say, okay, I'm going to pay a certain amount a month on this thing, then I'll do it. They tend to restrict pleasure. So they may go like, okay, I'm going to push through and I'm going to pay off all of this debt, but they may forget to really celebrate that or,
Yeah.
enjoy the process of doing that.
Finding the balance of yeah,
Mm-hmm.
enjoying your now while also financial goals. Yeah, that's
100%.
great analysis. Let's talk about 2s. I'm about to get called out really hard.
You're
Let's
going to
go.
tell us. Okay, so type 2s are the helper. They
Mm-hmm.
feel as though they must be loved and liked, and they earn that love and that like through flattery, through being helpful to others, being of use to others. They may struggle to trust that they are worthy or lovable just because they exist, just as they are.
As
I
my
love your
mentor
face.
tells me all the time, you are a human being, not a human doing, Tori Dunlap.
Ooh,
And
yes.
yeah, yeah.
That's it. And when it comes to money, you can tell me, but I would imagine one of the struggles is not spending your money on other people. Um, like not wanting to earn love by buying fancy dinners for people or taking people out or paying for people to go on trips with you because you want them to share this bonding experience with
Mm,
you. Sometimes a lot of twos get caught up in financially supporting their families. There are several
yeah.
types that do that. And yeah, and kind of using money as a tool to receive love, which sounds harsh,
Yeah.
but
I think for me it manifests because I'm not a great gift giver. I know this about myself. This is like the one biggest difference between Leslie Knope and I is I am the human, like I am real life Leslie Knope, but I'm not a good gift giver. But instead I am like big words of affirmation person. Like
mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
am big on that. That's how I love to receive love and that's how I love to give love. And
mm-hmm,
I think for me the way it shows up with money is I am now in a financial place where I can spend money on the people I love and I like to do that. But I think especially in the early days, it was a lot of like, let me go work really hard And so then I can show up and give my time. So it was more like, let me
Mhm.
earn money, let me become financially stable and take care of myself, hopefully,
Mhm.
because I want to take care of others.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this might sound counterintuitive because knowing you, I know that you're great at self-care, right? Like you do, and maybe this has
Am
been
I?
growth.
Am
Well,
I, dude?
from my
I don't know if I
observations,
am.
like
Like, I
yeah,
don't know if I am.
like
It's getting harder and harder. It's getting harder and harder. I
yeah,
try to be, but it's getting harder and harder. Yeah.
that's fair. Well, you seem good at self-care.
Oh, thank you.
And
I'm glad I give
and
the
I think that's a
perception that I
big
take care of myself.
well, I give the perception that I'm like really calm and I'm like, no, you guys are no, that's not the vibe.
You're like, I'm unhinged.
Yeah,
Let's
like
go.
it's not like that over here. So yeah, but that's another area too, struggle to spend money on themselves. So they may struggle
Yeah.
to give themselves what they need while being comfortable giving other people what they need.
Yeah, and I think that is something that I've worked on being better at. But I think actually what ends up happening for me, actually this is a great example because I'm living this right now, is this is a perfect time to have this conversation because I've been pretty burned out. I'm literally like
Mm-hmm.
manuscript for the book is due like tomorrow and I'm like I'm tired and we just launched the show and all of these things are happening, and so what I find myself doing is just shutting down because I've
Mm-hmm.
given so much of myself and then I'm like I just don't want to do it, so I end up just like throwing money at things. So I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I need a
Mm-hmm.
massage and I don't care if like there's a like massage open tomorrow and it's super expensive, like that's what I'm going to do. And so I feel like it's
Yeah.
the weird response to not potentially taking care of myself as a lifestyle and instead trying to fix things quickly because I'm tired and burned out.
Yeah, that is so fascinating. It's like almost like not having like integrated self-care leads to like kind of bigger
Binging
displays of
self-care.
self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
relatable. Yeah.
Yeah. Or just trying to solve things because now there's an issue. What
Mhm.
do you feel like twos might be good at around money?
Yeah. Well, I think you kind of touched on it with what you said was kind of a struggle, which is working really hard so that they can show up for people.
Yeah.
Um, I think that being really hard workers and being willing to do the hard work and being willing to show up,
Right.
um, twos also tend to thrive in the workplace in general because they know how to read people really well
Yeah.
and they can pick up on, okay, what does my boss want from me, and give that to them even if it's maybe not natural or doesn't come easy. They can do it, so they may be more primed to promotions and just earning potential. That being said, with I think the other element probably would be just, yeah, I mean, I'm going to stick with earning potential, like just
Yeah.
highly motivated to earn more money because that's the more they can give, the more they can do.
Yeah. Totally. Okay. Let's talk about threes.
Okay. Type threes are the achiever. The story there is that I am worthless and I have to earn my worth through doing and succeeding and achieving. So that's pretty strongly tied to money, right? So
I was waiting
our
for this one because this one I feel
yeah,
like is the most natural integration. Like it feels
yeah.
very, very tied.
Our average level threes tend to get caught up in debt. They tend to get caught up
Mm,
in keeping up with the Joneses kind of energy. Like, I want to look successful, even if I don't feel successful, which feels terrible for that three, right? Because
right.
it seems like I want to earn this success or I want to be perceived as successful and recognized for my achievements. And oftentimes they kind of spend money on the path to being recognized instead of doing the like under the ground dirty work of getting those achievements e- more difficultly, if that makes sense. So they're kind of
Right. The authentic achievement as opposed to maybe the performed achievement.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that really lends to debt and living above your means, flying, spending money on things that look good instead of
Yeah.
feel good. And then strength wise, again, they are highly motivated, highly goal oriented. If they set their mind to being debt free or doing things that feel good to them, they're going to do it. They're going to follow through with those intentions because they're highly motivated to do so. And they
Right.
tend to to do the things they say they're going to do.
Yeah. Okay. Fours.
Type fours are the individualist, or I like the title romantic. And they are told that kind of the message for them is that they have to be seen in the fullness of who they are. They also feel as though they need to be significant or special in some way, and or original. So
Yeah.
these types, when it comes to money, they're highly likely to spend a lot of money on very nice things so that they can live up to their aesthetic standards. Type fours tend to have like very specific aesthetic desires for themselves,
Right.
and have very specific ways they want to be perceived by other people. And so they might spend a lot of money on a few quality items, whether that's for their home or for the way that they choose to dress. Now, with that being said, they can also get caught up in purchasing things for who they think they're going to be. So,
Interesting.
because they're looking for a title, right? So fours are looking for, I'm an artist, I'm a skier, I'm a mathematician. Like they're looking for a
Yeah.
title. And if they buy all the
A label. Yeah.
supplies,
Yeah.
yeah, if they buy all the supplies for that title, then that makes them feel as though they might be able to have that title. And then they're very afraid of mediocrity. So they'd rather be a doomed failure than a moderate success. So if they feel as though they can't reach that high level of success, then they're not going to settle for average. So they're like, okay, this hobby is not for me. I've already bought all the supplies. I've spent thousands of dollars on these supplies. But you know what? The first time I tried it, I wasn't very good. And so out on to the next.
Or even
And
you could do
so
that with money, right? Is like realizing like, oh, I
100%.
tried to get a budget together and I blew it, and so I'm never gonna budget again. Because it's
Yes.
easier to just say cut your losses than it is to realize that most things we're not good at for a long time, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And budgeting's not very romantic. It's not
Not very
very
romantic.
yeah, you have
It
to
could
make it
be.
romantic.
I'm trying to
Right.
make it romantic for everybody,
Yeah.
but yeah.
You're
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah, and I think that's where the strength of our fours lies, is their ability to romance the mundane. When they're in their healthier levels, they can make these like ordinary activities feel so beautiful, and can I say sexy? Like just
Sure.
like so good. Like my husband, he describes washing the dishes like, oh, I just love the warm water on my hands and like the
Got my scrub
soapy.
daddy. Yeah.
Yes,
I love
we do have a scrub daddy.
There you go. This is not sponsored. I don't know.
This is-
I went to the Duolingo office yesterday and they did like a scrub daddy like collab. And so I have a Duolingo owl shaped scrub daddy on my sink and I can't wait to use it.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm really into it.
No, but I love that of like literally
Yeah.
romanticizing your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're the main,
Yes.
it's the main
They
character
are
energy.
they are the masters of romanticizing your life. We all have a lot to learn from them. So,
Cool.
yeah, when it comes to budgeting, if they can like get into that energy, they're going to kill it
Yeah,
because
and
they'll find a way to love it.
savor the things that they're purchasing or what they're spending their money on. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, fives.
Okay. Oh, our fives. They have a pretty strong money story. So our fives are the investigators. They are motivated by being informed, having all the knowledge. They fear depletion, so they tend to hoard their resources, which kind of has an obvious money context. Like fives tend to be great savers. They struggle with spending money. They may not want to spend any money ever on anything.
It's that
They
scarcity mindset of like, when is it coming
yeah.
back? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they tend to do that with all of their resources, their energy levels, their, how much time they give to people, how much money they give to people, how much affirmation they give to people. They kind of tend to keep it close, close at hand. So
Yeah.
their work is really going to be in allowing themselves to be a little frivolous and have a little fun and trust that it's all going to be okay, and that they tend to limit the amount that they ask for because they think they can do without. So they're really not likely to ask for a raise. They're not likely to ask for support. They're going to just find a way to not need the things that they need so that they don't have to ask for more.
Right. And what do we feel like their potential like benefits are to being a five with money?
Oh, they're incredible at saving money. Like
Right.
they're going to just keep it all and not spend any of it, and just they may all be millionaires. I don't know, but they're saving it.
I was going to say, if you're a 5 and you're listening to this, add us. Tell us if you're doing that. Tell us how much money you have. No, I love it.
Tell us your secrets.
Tell us all your secrets. Although, yeah, it is. We don't preach deprivation on the podcast or at Her First 100K. So yeah, you finding that balance, I think, is going to be tricky for them. Let's move on. 6s. What do we got going on?
Yes, our 6s are the loyalists. They value safety and security, and they are seeking certainty. They want answers. Now, with our 6s, they tend to be very loyal to jobs, to family, to friends. And that gets them into a lot of trouble when it comes to money because two things happen. One, they don't want to be in charge. They like to be like, I had a 6 say to me one time, like, I don't want to be the boss, but I would like to hire the boss because they don't trust authority. So they're kind of constantly testing authority, but they don't want to be the authority. So that can limit your income potential, of course, right? Because you avoid promotion. Right. Now, the other side of this too is that they can stay in jobs that aren't promoting them or maybe have toxic environments. They may struggle to spend money on the things they really want to do or to use their savings to live a free and happy life because they want that stability. They want that security. Yeah. Now, the obvious pros to this are like and they may struggle to invest, right? Like the risk of, well, I don't want my money up in the air. I don't want to know. I want to have guaranteed security, certainty that this is going to be okay.
Right.
Which is another like a limitation thing. Now,
mattress on the cash as opposed to a bank or a Roth IRA. Yeah.
Now, they are likely to have a stable job for years and years and years. They're likely to, buy and pay off their home as soon as possible. So these like kind of strongholds of just like, I'm going to have stable certainty, but that stability may limit your access to joy, access to freedom, access to more abundance.
I think about like in my own life, the decision to quit my job. Right. And I remember calling my parents. I think my mom is also a 2. I've never had her take the Enneagram, but I wouldn't be surprised if my dad is a 6 because those stable options. Yeah. I called my parents and they were like, you cannot quit your job. You need health insurance. Like you can't do that. And of course I quit and way better off for it. But yeah, I think it could limit your ability to take either a perceived or an actual risk when it comes to making financial decisions. Yeah. All right, 7s, your type. Let's chat.
So we also have
I'm about to call myself out.
It's a very strong money story. So 7s are the enthusiast. We like to be satisfied. We fear being trapped in emotional pain. Yep. We are adventurous. We love new experiences. Yes. We hate being limited. We want to keep our options open.
Commitment is rough. Yeah.
Rough.
I dated a 7 in case that wasn't clear. I know I'm just going to go ahead and
7s. We're easy to like and hard to keep liking, I think. I think that's an easy way to say it.
You call yourself out.
I don't mind.
Easy to like and hard to love. Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually that's it. That's the sentence. When it comes to money, as you can imagine, people who are scared of feeling pain look for lots of escapes, lots of ways out of that pain.
Vices,
vices. Some of my favorites are Target, buying plane tickets out of nowhere. And here's the thing. We are very good at convincing ourselves that everything is possible and there will not be any negative consequences to our behavior. So the problem here is that I will unconsciously fudge the numbers to myself, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy this plane ticket. It's only going to cost me $50 because of my points on my miles. And then I wait 3 weeks to buy the plane ticket. And the plane ticket's like $1,200 now. I still buy it. And I'm like, that was $50. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So we are able to convince ourselves that anything is possible, anything is real.
Which is beautiful and exciting and also very dangerous.
Yes. Right. It's very inspiring if that's your struggle is self-care, then being around a 7 is very inspiring and motivating. Yeah. It is also, the reason that oftentimes 7s have to work their tails off constantly just to maintain the like bougie lifestyle that we enjoy. because we might spend a bunch of money, then have to earn all of that money back really fast.
Right.
Or they
Or that
might
commitment
potentially.
isn't there. You're hopping from one thing to another to another to another.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's the other thing is we tend to like spread ourselves really thin and struggle to follow through. So a lot of the work that we have to do is in like how do we sit with this being uncomfortable
Yeah.
and just get to the other side of that feeling.
Yeah, my partner who's a 7, like one of the beautiful things about him is he would text me and be like, "Hi, I'm doing this," and then 5 minutes later
Hmm.
be like, "And I'm doing this," and it was
Yeah,
so exciting. And like,
yeah.
especially like he was trying to grow a business, and so it was like, "I want to do this and I want to do this." And
Hmm.
for me, both as a business owner and a coach, but also as a two, I was like reeling him in. I was like, "I love
Hmm.
the energy. However, like pick one thing and do
Hmm.
that for a while before you go on to the next thing." Yeah,
And I
totally.
will say, like, I'm speaking really personally here and I'm being kind of harsh with myself just because I think that's fun. But there are sevens who save money and who like do great.
Oh,
I save
totally.
money at this point in my life. Like we learn and we
Right.
grow. Um, and that's for every type. Like as we get healthier, these habits shift and change. I think in terms of strengths for us, we spend money on the things we love. You know, we're not
Yeah.
afraid to treat ourselves or to do things that feel fun. We're not as of risk averse. You know, we might
Yeah.
take those kind of financial risks that help us to have earning potential.
Right.
Um,
The YOLO energy is both good and bad
yes,
with 7s. Yeah.
100%.
All right. I have so many friends who are 8s.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple 8s on our team.
Whoop, whoop.
I love a good type 8. Let's talk about 8s.
I love eights too. Um, eights are
They are
the
the Scorpios of the Enneagram. Like
yes.
they
to
do
be
not
the
put up with your
brunt.
shit.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a lot of 8 tendencies, especially
Mm-hmm.
publicly. Like my public persona is very much 8. It's just
Yeah.
like fuck you if you cross me, go away. And like
Yep.
I will defend who I
Mm-hmm.
need to defend, what I need to defend. Like 8s have really, yeah, passionate, justice fueled energy.
100%. Um, and yeah, so our eights here are the challengers. They are motivated by, I mean, the kind of the message they received is that the world is a dog eat dog place and only the strong survive. So
Right.
I need to become strong so that I don't get
Fuck shit up.
taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They fear betrayal. They fear weakness. So they tend to power up when things get hard. Uh, Now, financial struggles. Eights of more than any other Enneagram type support their family members.
Mm.
So they tend to be really protective of their family
Wow.
type members.
You just said that. I have again two friends who are actually ex clients of mine, so I know both
Mm-hmm.
their their personal lives and their finances. And the two I'm thinking of, wow, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
really, really have gone above and beyond to make sure that their families are okay
Yeah.
financially. Yeah.
I have a type 8 brother, and when we grew up really, really poor, and he
Mm.
bought all of my clothes. He was
Wow.
25 at the time. He worked his tail off, paid a lot of our bills, and bought me clothes so that I could not look poor at school. And he would spend his 25-year-old money, like he was a 25-year-old kid,
Yeah.
buying me things that I needed for school. Like
Hmm.
that's the eight
Wow.
energy. And I think eights get like a lot of bad press. um, but like
Get a bad
that's
rep.
the eight
Yeah.
magic is like they're
Yeah.
willing to do the hard things for the people they care about.
Yeah.
And they don't always get the credit for that either, which is intense. So yeah, so I think they tend to work really, really hard to take care of other people. The other element here for our eights is they don't really know when to stop, so they're very prone to burnout.
Mm.
Burnout to the degree of physical illness. Like
Wow.
I've had eights say to me, like, I didn't know that I was working too hard until I had to go to the hospital. Like more than one eight, like lots of eights have told me that. So um that's the major thing I think of when I think of like money and how their relationship to money.
Yeah.
When it comes to strengths with money, I mean, they're not afraid to do hard things. That's not intimidating to them. Things tend to feel really simple to them. Like, okay, you just do it. Like you're supposed to do it. So you do it and you don't complain about it. Now they are also pretty bougie. Eights tend to do things to the extreme. So anything they like it a lot. So sevens and eights are similar in the sense that we both like things a lot. Sevens like a lot of things. Eights like things to have like something to the maximum. So
Right. The
I like
intensity.
whiskey, I'm going to get the most whiskey. Sevens, I like whiskey, I'm going to try every whiskey there is in the world.
Yeah.
So they can kind of go to the extreme in either direction, in deprivation or in pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Our final type, our little
Time now.
peacekeepers, our nines.
Yeah, so our nines are the peacekeepers. Their message is that they need to be easy to get along with. They fear
Yeah.
separation from the people that they care about. And the the struggles that they tend to have to do with numbness to self and numbness to life. They don't like to feel too much, too intense, and they unconsciously um, just kind of numb out, whether that's through their phones or through TV or whatever they choose to do. They also may struggle with prioritization, knowing what's most important and where to go next. And because of that, that can cause them to be pretty intense procrastinators, struggling to get started. So I imagine the struggles that they would have with money come from like, I don't even know where to start. The idea of this is so overwhelming, I can't even look at it. So
Yeah.
they probably ignore their bank accounts. They probably have struggled to like start a retirement account unless it's being done for them by someone who's either a little bit more assertive or their career. They're not very likely to go out and proactively create these systems for themselves.
Yeah. That was
Strengths.
super. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. Strengths wise, they don't need a lot. They tend to be
Yeah.
pretty chill people. Like
Yeah.
they're not like the seven. Like when we escape our pain, we're like spending a ton of money. They're more likely to just kind of quiet, stay at home, maybe go out in nature. They're probably not big spenders in the same sense that like, other types might be.
Yeah. That was so helpful. Thank you.